Okay, today I want to present you an AI use case. Well, you can use AI agent regarding the control of the prerequisite on some environment. Imagine you created a Kubernetes cluster managed, okay, on OCI, and sometimes you have an error and you don't know what is the reason of this specific error. Okay. The first question that expert will ask is, do you follow the prerequisite regarding the networking for this OKE cluster? Sure, on the documentation, you have the description of all the rules of the subnet that are going to be used by an OKE cluster. Okay? And you can use an official Terraform stack to create the OKE cluster. And believe me, with this official stack, you will have all the good prerequisites regarding your OKE cluster. Another point is, okay, did you follow the recommendation of expert regarding the implementation of some feature on the OKE cluster? You can imagine that if we use an agent and we give to the agent the URL where you have all the prerequisites, we give to the agent the official Terraform stack in order to create an official OKE cluster with no problem. Okay? And we can give to an agent all the recommendation from some Oracle expert. Then after that, you give a connection to the agent with a MCP server Kubernetes, able to run Kubernetes command with the client. Okay. Then you have all the information needed in order to do a check, a double check, a control of the prerequisite. And it's quite nice and it's very easy to do that with OCI AI. Okay? So, looking at that code here, you see I use Python. I use OCI SDK with Python. Okay? And I'm using model of generative AI in order to do the control. Okay? I'm using long chain, long graph, blah, blah, blah. Always the same, you know. I developed some tool in order to give tool to the agent because the agent need to have information. So for example, you have a tool to get information from the node pool of the OKE cluster. You have a tool to get information about the network of the OKE cluster. You have the recommendation from Black Belt, OKE expert, and you have the description of the official rule for an OKE cluster. After that, you just need to run the code and to get the report from the agent. Okay? So the agent will connect to the OKE cluster or will connect to the VCN of OKE cluster and will do its job in order to control the prerequisite. This project is not an official project. It's just a demo to show you how it's so nice to use the power of AI to do control on production and to do control on some complex things. Because if I want to check all the rules myself on the network, all the subnet, the security rules, the network security group, Okay, did you put a node pool only on one AD and not several AD, and so on and so on and so on. It's very, very, very long. So the agent can do that for you. You can see on my screen here, okay, the code. But first, I need to show you. I have here a cluster, my OKE Terraform cluster that is running, very nice. And I have another cluster that was created. This one was created with the wizard only for dev test and is not able to run something on production. It's just for dev test, okay? And this one was created with the official Terraform stack, okay? And the official Terraform stack can be found on internet on GitHub, and you can run this stack very easily with this kind of button deployed to Oracle Cloud, and then you will have an automatic Terraform stack created on OCI, and you will run the apply on Terraform and get the VCN, the control plane, and the data plane. Okay, nice. So the agent has all the information about the URL with a prerequisite, has all the information with the official stack, Terraform, can connect to the OKE cluster, and can do the job of controlling, checking, double checking. Okay, you can see the code run. Okay, and you can see that first I have an MCP server that was running. Okay, this MCP server was very simple, really. I just use here a simple fast MCP in order to develop this MCP server. To be honest, I just use AI to generate this code in 2 minutes. Okay, and then I have an MCP server able to connect to my OKE cluster on OCI and to get information about the namespace, about the node, about the persistent volume claim, and so on and so on. Doc a lot of tools that can be used in order to connect to my OKE cluster and to get information. Okay, so you can imagine all these tools. Okay, official documentation, official stack, connection to the OKE cluster, and the agent that can use all these tools in order to do the control. Okay, at the end, you can see an HTML file was generated, this one. Okay, and I can show you the result, and the result is really nice. Okay. For example, first result regarding a cluster created with the official Terraform stack, you can see everything is green. All the rules are implemented regarding the usage of NSC. Okay. Regarding the implementation here of the recommendation from some experts, some are implemented, others are not implemented. Okay, and I checked the compliance of the stack with the official rules. You can see the stack used is completely nice. Okay, and so you can see that this is really, really very nice to have this kind of report. I can show you another here report. Okay, this report concern is about a cluster created with a wizard. So the wizard is, the goal is not to have a cluster used in production, because this is just a wizard to do a simple test, and that's all. Okay, it's not a cluster that you can use on production. And for example, we can find of this cluster created by the Oracle OCI wizard that some parts are missing. For example, you have no subnet for the worker, no subnet for the pods, okay, and so on and so on and so on. So a lot of things are missing. Okay, implemented. Oh, you can see I did a test with PVC and it was okay. Very nice. And there is no file system storage PVC. There is block volume storage PVC. Okay. Nice. The stack is okay. Okay. And a check regarding UDP2 if you want to test this part regarding your cluster. So what you can see, okay, you can see that really use using AI in order to do a double check regarding the prerequisite of a solution is a really nice way because it's complex to do, okay, manually, and it's very easy. You can just give tools to the agent. I'm using a model on Chicago, okay, in order to do the job, a Gen AI model on Chicago, because Chicago on OCI has the last model, the most update model, and it's nice to use to use them. Okay, so thank you for your attention.